Good evening, everyone. It's Monday, February the 12th, 2018. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. The government is to switch to weekly garbage collection for 10 weeks from February the 19th, saying it does not have the resources to do a twice-weekly service. This comes after weeks of delays in collecting trash. But the Minister of Public Works, Lieutenant Colonel David Birch, says new staff and new trucks should ease the problem in the future. Hal Davis reports. And Lieutenant Colonel David Birch also spoke about proposals to allow all-terrain vehicles, or ATVs, to operate on parts of the railway trail in Sands. The Minister of Public Works said he hadn't made his mind up yet, but stressed he would not be listening to objections from people who didn't live near the proposed route. Anticipated sitting of the House of Representatives, and when it takes place on Friday of this week, no doubt the majority of the island will be tuned in to hear what the annual budget presentation will mean for them. Gary Moreno tried to get some insight from Premier and Finance Minister David Birch and tells us more in this report.
be at the expense of Bermudians.
It's not a question of how many people are in Bermuda. The issue is jobs. If more jobs means that there are more people not only from Bermuda, Bermudians overseas, but others that are coming here to live and to work, that's not a bad thing. What is a bad thing is if people are coming here to work and Bermudians are being left aside. We want to ensure that we make sure that we take care of our Bermudians, that we provide them the training that is necessary in order to and reskill and retool for the future, and also have more people living and working in Bermuda. I believe that both can be accomplished.
Business, both local and international, will need certain incentives to help create employment opportunities spoken about by Mr. Bett. But will he be acceding to any requests in that regard?
There was a lot of feedback, clearly, and we're taking all that feedback under advisement. And everyone, I'm sure, in 1 week's time, will be waiting with bated breath to hear what is in store for them in this upcoming budget.
Increased taxes?
Everyone will be waiting until February 16th to see.
Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And don't forget to socialize with us online. News, and even breaking news anytime on our ever-growing Twitter and Facebook pages. We have lots of videos, photos, comments, and links to the news you can use 24/7. So be sure to like, click, share, and follow us today. Stay with us. More news in tonight's AccuWeather forecast after the break.
The whole concept came from the collaboration with BF&M and the America's Cup. The Endeavour program is the legacy of the 35th America's Cup that was here in Bermuda in June. And we've continued the charity now operating in Bermuda. And going forward, we thought, what a great opportunity for children on the autism spectrum. And hence we actually developed the No Limits program. They really do benefit from this kind of outdoor experience, this environment. You know, just yesterday going off the east end of Bermuda, I mean, they wouldn't have done that. Not many children in Bermuda have done that. And just them learning to take control of a large bit of transportation that they're doing at that age, and they may never get that opportunity.
That's where you see the biggest progress is whether they were looking at their hand steering, now they're looking forwards and actually looking where they're going, because they've realized, oh, I know where my hand is. I can do this without looking at my hand.
We are so grateful for the Endeavour program and what it has done for the students on the autism spectrum.
Welcome back. The international fallout over Bermuda's reversal of the right to gay marriage still raging online despite several days passed since the governor announced his approval of domestic partnerships. The global reaction on social media sites like Facebook and Twitter continues. We spoke with Bermudian social media expert Don Burgess about the publicity. He told Tarai Trot, based on the numerous feeds he monitors, the response from the overseas public has not been positive.
Well, mostly, I would say it's running at least 20 to 1 negative responses to the Domestic Partnership Act. A lot of people seem outraged that it's a step back, and they're highlighting the fact that Bermuda is the first country to have it, well, not necessarily on the books, but through the court, and then taking away some of those rights. I would say, like, mostly negative. There are some people that have posted supported Bermuda. There was a person who had Trump in their hashtag, saying that now they're considering coming to Bermuda because of this change. But for the most part, people are saying things like, in the world first, Bermuda repealed same-sex marriage legislation last week. There have been people out there defending Bermuda, too. Somebody under the hashtag JonesBDA has been very vocal in trying to say, Bermuda's, there's 170 other countries like Bermuda who don't have same-sex marriage on the books.
Who are some of the key figures commenting who have a large social media presence?
Well, Richard Branson is one. He posted, Bermuda's same-sex marriage repeal is a massive step backwards. Why legislate against love? Katie Couric posted, Bermuda legalized same-sex marriage a year ago. This week abolished it.
Now, using your hat as a social media expert, how does the current reaction to domestic partnerships compare to past big news events out of the island?
It's one of the larger ones. It's not the biggest. The Paradise Papers, when Appleby was hacked, was much larger.
In other news, the Bermuda Hospitality Industries Student Network 2018 sees another collaboration with Bermuda's largest hotel for high school seniors and college students. The Minister of Economic Development and Tourism, Jamal Simmons, says this network has the ministry's full support.
I am very pleased today to be able to announce our support and sponsorship for the Bermuda Hospitality Institute's upcoming student networking event on February 22nd. In partnership with the Fairmont Southampton, we're looking to introduce more of our young people into the tourism industry, not just as entry-level posts, but as a career. Part of our critical mission is to make sure that more Bermudians are involved in tourism, but not just that, but more are involved in opportunities to move up and advance within the industry.
Meantime, the executive director of BHI, Malika Cartwright, told Bermuda Broadcasting that she received several applications and has assisted more than 50 recently.
I do get provided with those job postings, and if I have young people or people who have come into my office and sat with me, I do send their resume over to the HR department here. In addition, Fairmont Southampton has been very supportive of our skills, tasks, and results training program from the American Hotel and Lodging Education Institute, where we have taken students ages 16 through 18 through a program, and they have received their entry-level certification, which is recognized around the world for them to work in the hospitality industry, and they have come to work at Fairmont Southampton and many of the other properties around the island. We've had almost 60 students go through that program, and it's been very successful, and I'd like to say thank you to not only Fairmont Southampton but everyone else who has supported those students in those programs.
In other news, school bus runs, refurbishments to the aging bus fleet, and the potential purchase of 10 extra buses. These topics were discussed in an update from Deputy Premier and Minister of Transport Walter Raban at the House of Assembly. Jasmine Patterson tells us more.
7 scheduled school bus runs from Clearwater Middle School, the Barclay Institute, and Cedar Bridge Academy were cancelled this past Friday. The problem of an aging fleet persists, but government is working to resolve it.
We are working with DPT to get that back up to normal as soon as possible, but due to obviously everybody knows that we do have a acute shortage of buses due to the state of the bus fleet. We are challenged to provide the precise exact number that we have assured to guarantee the schools on a daily basis.
A plan is in the works with the bus manufacturers to send a team here to refurbish 15 to 20 buses from the 2009 series starting this month.
They will be subjected to a full refurbishment and rebuild of engines and aspects of the buses so that we can get those buses and potentially get another 5 to 8 years service out of them.
The day-to-day maintenance of the current fleet has also been subjected to improvements.
We have already deployed a more robust preventative maintenance program on the whole fleet to help keep as many buses as we can in operation. I demanded a commitment from DPT to have at least 50 buses available daily. They have met that commitment every day since that was required of them, which was in January, and I am happy to say they have met that commitment. So we've had somewhere between in the early 60s to late 60s of buses available every day, but it's still shorter than what we need on the existing schedule.
1 of 4 buses purchased has arrived on the island, but what is being done to meet the demand for public transport during the peak tourist season?
We have plans to purchase at least another close to 10 with our next efforts, subject to the next budget being approved, to be able to purchase an additional 10 or so buses, close to 10 buses, once the budget is approved.
The newest fleet are 5 inches longer than the law stipulates. However, the minister assures us it does not compromise safety.
It's not a problem. It is a constant issue. A number of series going back have been slightly bigger than the law allows, but this is the norm, and we will deal with that.
The newest bus is set to hit the road before the end of the month. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Turning to weather news, another beautiful sunny day for our Tuesday. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you this AccuWeather forecast, which does involve some rain. I will step aside. There we can pick out Bermuda, clearly labeled on the map here, and look at what's going on to our west. We have widespread showers and lots of clouds approaching from the far western Atlantic. This has been a prolific rainmaker across the eastern U.S. over the past few days. Some spots even saw about 7 inches of rain north of Destin, Florida. Now, we're not going to see anything of that magnitude, but we will see some rain from it. And here you can see basically a view of satellite estimated radar, almost as if we were looking at a radar picture showing where the rain showers are at this point. They are well to our west for now, but not for long. They're going to be rolling into the day tomorrow, and maybe even a few late tonight. Current conditions, nice little breeze from the south in advance of this front, 5 to 10 knots, not terribly strong. On the inside, we have waves on the relatively small side, fairly flat water. Good news for that kayaking trip with mom this evening, maybe something like that. And then on the outside, we have 3 to 5 footers out there. So we're doing okay. 71 degrees is the air temp, and it is pretty pleasant. We'll lose about 5 degrees tonight. We'll hold on to a generally partly cloudy and warm feel. And for the most part, the rain will hold off until we get into the day tomorrow, and there will be a few showers into the afternoon. That's the most likely time for rain. Temperatures will reach about 71. Our high tomorrow will be close to where we are essentially now, more or less. And as we look at the tide chart here, we are dealing with high tide coming up awfully soon, 6:25 p.m. Low tide then around midnight. Next high tide for the early risers tomorrow, 6:53 a.m., and then another low tide into the early afternoon. And again, that low tide, if you're out there looking for sand dollars, that's when we might begin to see a few showers creep in. So keep your eyes to the sky with the rain on the way for tomorrow. The Gateway forecast shows that it's chilly on Tuesday in New York and in Boston. Toronto, we're cold there, 24. Temperatures failing to climb to the freezing point. Atlanta, 54. Miami, 84. It's been warm in Florida. And in London, the rain is falling across parts of the United Kingdom. And in the region here, across the Caribbean, we're dealing with some showers into Jamaica, Barbados, and into places like Trinidad and up into Scarborough, Tobago as well. So looking at that 5-day forecast, here they come. The showers will march in on Tuesday associated with the front that is lurking off of the Carolina, Georgia, and Florida coast. They'll be here tomorrow afternoon. Wednesday, drier, a little cooler, not a huge temperature change though. Thursday, showers return once again, 69 degrees. Into Friday, Saturday, 71. Clouds will become a little more widespread, thickening into the beginning of the weekend. So we will move on through the next 5 days without too many weather issues. Just look out for the showers tomorrow afternoon and again on Thursday. Have a great one out there. Back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
Changing every day, in every possible way. Then I open up and see the person falling here is me. 'Cause you're a dream to me.
Made with care, handled with care, delivered with care. That's what dreams are made of.
Live with Flowers by Jimmy. Laugh with Flowers by Jimmy. Love with Flowers by Jimmy. On this Valentine's Day, live, laugh, and love with something beautiful from Flowers by Jimmy.
That's Flowers by Jimmy, 37 Harborview Center, Front Street, and also available at Miles Market. Call 297-4464. That's 297-4464 and order early to avoid disappointment. Flowers by Jimmy.
We deliver romance.
It's for the way you look at me. Oh, it's for the only one I see. The is very, very extraordinary. It's even more than anyone that you adore and love. It's all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a gift.
Imagine your home working as hard as you, harnessing the power of the sun. While you work, we work. Think solar with BAE. Imagine more power, more often with BAE.
And hey everyone, we apologize for the audio problem we had at the top of our newscast. For this reason, we've decided to revisit these stories. The government is to switch to weekly garbage collection for 10 weeks from February the 19th, saying it does not have the resources to do a twice-weekly service. This comes after weeks of delays in collecting trash. But the Minister of Public Works, Lieutenant Colonel David Birch, says new staff and new trucks should ease the problem in the future. Our Hal Davis reports.
For weeks, Bermudians have been coming here to the Tynes Bay waste facility to get rid of their trash, exacerbated by delays in the regular collection service. But with luck, that should be coming to an end, with the government announcing a blitz on garbage this Wednesday using all the island's available trucks. Good news, but the Minister of Public Works, Lieutenant Colonel David Birch, also had some less welcome information. For 10 weeks, from February the 19th to April 27th, twice-weekly garbage collection will be cut to once a week.
The aim here is to rid the country of garbage, manage the expectations of the public by not falsely promising twice-weekly collection when that is virtually impossible to accomplish at this time.
The minister stressed there are improvements coming, with more staff and trucks on the way.
Interviews are being conducted today for the first 5 additional staff being recruited in this first batch of new hires. A team inclusive of a driver and a worker will travel overseas by month end to select the next batch of garbage trucks. We will purchase 5 of them.
But people might still have to come to Tynes Bay for a while, with the trucks unlikely to arrive before November. So what do people here make of the news about the reduction in the collection service from 2 days to 1?
My reaction to that, the trash needs to be collected because the doors tend to have a smell. When doors, there's rubbish, so it needs to be collected twice a week. Yeah, it shouldn't be collected once a week, no. I disagree with that 100%.
It doesn't affect me a whole lot, however, and that's because I bring my garbage on a regular basis to the pulverization plant. But if they're going to be doing it once a week for a couple of months, it might severely impact other families, but it doesn't impact me a whole lot. I believe they are trying to do their best.
So some sympathy for the government, but it will know that its promise to fix things before the end of April must be kept, or it will run the risk of being trashed by critics. Hal Davis, Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And Lieutenant Colonel David Birch also spoke about proposals to allow all-terrain vehicles, or ATVs, to operate on parts of the railway trail in Sands. The Minister of Public Works said he hadn't made his mind up yet, but stressed he would not be listening to objections from people who didn't live near the proposed route.
I stick by my position that I enunciated publicly before, that if you live east of Whitehill, you don't get a say in this. You don't get a say in this. For God's sakes, I am sick of us being the country of no. We say no to everything, and then we ask, now what's the question? It's not affecting you. You don't live in the West, so you ain't gonna hear the bikes. You don't, it's astounding to me how these people who live nowhere near the issue object to it. And so, no, they will not be, their views will not, I say they won't be considered. I'm not going to look at the 500 people who live east of Whitehill.
In other news, it is perhaps the most anticipated sitting of the House of Representatives, and when it takes place on Friday of this week, no doubt the majority of the island will be tuned in to hear what the annual budget presentation will mean for them. Gary Moreno tried to get some insight from Premier and Finance Minister David Birch and tells us more in this report.
Input from all stakeholders, along with the needs of the population, being poured over by those responsible for producing the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 2018-2019. And while not revealing any of what the budget might contain, Mr. Birch did explain what the main objective would be.
It's going to be about growth, it's going to be about investment, it's going to be making sure that we deliver on our promises.
The 2016 census revealed a worrying trend, an increasingly aging population, a labor force participation rate down to 83%, and unemployment at 7%. Not good indicators in terms of rejuvenating the economy. Yet Mr. Birch remains undaunted, but is adamant any solution will have to be all-embracing, unlike what obtained under previous governments, the PLP included.
We have to recognize recognize it as a country, we have to grow together. And that means that if we were to, for instance, return back to the heydays of, 1990s and 2000s, the fact is that if we have growth, but one section of the economy is not benefiting, then it's not of help. So this is about growing together. This is about making the investments in training, the investments in education, the investment in social programs, to all at the same points in time that we're talking about investments to grow the economy.
It has been repeatedly stated by economists and others schooled in matters of finance that there must be an increase in the size of the population in order for the economy to experience a faster and much-needed turnaround. Something Mr. Burt is not unaware of, but makes it clear this cannot be at the expense of Bermudians.
It's not a question of how many people are in Bermuda. The issue is jobs. If more jobs means that there are more people not only from Bermuda, Bermudians overseas, but others that are coming here to live and to work, that's not a bad thing. What is a bad thing is if people are coming here to work and Bermudians are being left aside. We want to ensure that we make sure that we take care of our Bermudians, that we provide them the training that is necessary in order to reskill and retool for the future, and also have more people living and working in Bermuda. I believe that both can be accomplished.
Business, both local and international, will need certain incentives to help create employment opportunities spoken about by Mr. Burt. But will he be acceding to any requests in that regard?
There was a lot of feedback, clearly, and we're taking all that feedback under advisement. And everyone, I'm sure, in 1 week's time, will be waiting with bated breath to hear what is in store for them in this upcoming budget.
Increased taxes?
Everyone will be waiting until February 16th to see.
Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
In other news, Kim Wilson, the health minister, today announced the launching of a consultation for amendments to the Mental Health Act. Ms. Wilson announced the measures alongside her steering committee and project team.
Indeed, raising the awareness of mental health and the issues surrounding those persons within our community affected by mental health challenges is something that I am personally passionate about. In brief, due to the urgency of some of these changes that were needed and the magnitude of the full reforms envisioned, the Ministry of Health proposes a phased approach to amending the Mental Health Act. Phase 1 will address immediate issues that require urgent attention, and Phase 2 will look at the longer-term wholesale rewrite of the Act, which is some 50 years old. The goal of each phase is to bring Bermuda's mental health legislation in line with contemporary methods of care, and whilst balancing at the same time the need to protect the rights of the individual patients and the need to ensure public safety.
Feedback to the proposals in the consultation paper should be provided by February 28th. To see the paper, log on to the gov.bm website or email moh@gov.bm. And turning to sports, a Bermuda track and field record was set. A total of 48 goals were scored over the weekend in football action, and the Ed Sherlock Road Race took place in Southampton. Earl Basden has tonight's sports package.
Age minors competed in the Boston University David Hamery Valentine Invitational, setting a new Bermuda national record in the men's 800-meter final, clocking an indoor time of 147.9, breaking his own record of 148.7 he set during the Terrier Classic in January of 2017. Meanwhile, Bermuda Olympian Tyrone Smith competed in the Canadian Indoor Championships in Montreal. Smith would finish on the podium with a top leap of 7.68 meters that resulted in a bronze medal. This weekend started with promises of leadership challenges at the top of the Premier Division, but that did not happen. While in the First Division, BAA took the position as league leaders. This after a combined total of 48 goals were scored in the two divisions. In the Premier Division at the Bernard Park yesterday, the North Village Rams and the Dandytown Hornets stayed in the title hunt following their 3-3 draw. In other matches, it was Flanagan's Onions 2, Somerset Trojans 3, Young Men's Social Club 1, Crossroads 4, Devonshire Cougars 2, Boulevard Blazers 1, Robin Hood 1, PHC Zebras 1. In the top of the table First Division clash at the Southampton Oval, visitors BAA defeated Paget Lions 5-0. Shane Simmons would score twice, while Michael Hartman, Drew Ande Bascom, and Marcus Brinkman all added a goal each. In other First Division matches, it was Somerset Eagles 1, Southampton Rangers 1, Wolves 0, St. David's 8, St. George's Colts 3, Hamilton Parish 1, Devonshire Colts 3, Island Rangers 5. Mark LeBlanc and Gail Lindsay are the 2018 Ian Sherlock male and female 10K road race champions following a run that started and finished at the Southampton Oval yesterday. LeBlanc ran away from second place finisher Sean Trott to clock a winning time of 35.59. Trott was clocked at 37.06 and Tim Price finished third in a time of 37.39. Lindsay was the 12th runner to cross the line, clocking a time of 43.03. Victoria Fiddick was the second female finisher and 14th overall with a time of 45.18. And Liana Coetzee was the third female finisher and 18th overall, clocking 47.12. The Bermuda Netball Association's league season resumed at Bernard Park on Saturday, where in the under-12 division, the Warriors defeated Phoenix 21-1, and the Storm then defeated the North Village Lady Rams 24-16. In the under-16 division, the Storms would defeat the Warriors 45-9, while the Phoenix Fire edged the North Village Rams 20-18. Ebony Cox would score a game-high 43 goals to lead the Phoenix Heat to a 52-25 win over the Storm in senior league play. Akita Fablo would add 7 goals for the Phoenix Heat, while Daria Benjamin scored 21 goals for the Storm, with Kamala Nazir adding 4 goals. In other matches, the Lyndhurst Tigers would edge the North Village Lady Rams Red 34-31, and the Blazing Phoenix defeated Robin Hood 26-13. The National Sports Center hosted the Denton Hurdle Memorial matches yesterday. In the opening game, the Teachers Ladies Seconds team defeated the Rest 3-2. That game was followed by the First Ladies team that would see the Teachers come out on top 3-0. The men's second team game saw the Rest defeat the Teachers 17-15, and the Teachers men's would win the men's first game, defeating the Rest 55-26. The Bermuda Golf Association's February Monthly Medal 2018 took place at the Turtle Hill Golf Course on Saturday. Fraser Hunt won the men's gross flight 1 division with a 2 over par 56, while Mark Phillips finished second 1-stroke back, and youngster Kenny LeJour was third with a round of 4 over par 58. Anthony Medeiros won the men's gross flight 2 division after his round of 11 over par 65. David Roberts was second at 12 over par, and Lewis Miller was third, shooting 16 over par. Ann O'Neill topped the ladies leaderboard after her round of 4 over par 58. Ebony Cox was second at 7 over par, while Ann Simons and Katrin Burney both shot 10 over par.
The whole concept came from the collaboration with BF&M and the America's Cup. The Endeavour program is the legacy of the 35th America's Cup that was here in Bermuda in June. And we've continued the charity now operating in Bermuda. And going forward, we thought, what a great opportunity for children on the autism spectrum. And hence we actually developed the No Limits program. They really do benefit from this kind of outdoor experience, this environment. You know, just yesterday going off the east end of Bermuda, I mean, they wouldn't have done that. Not many children in Bermuda have done that. And just them learning to take control of a large bit of transportation that they're doing at that age, and they may never get that opportunity.
That's where you see the biggest progress is whether they were looking at their hand steering, you know, now they're looking forward and actually looking where they're going, because they've realized, oh, I know where my hand is, I can do this without looking at my hand.
We are so grateful for the Endeavour program and what it has done for the students on the autism spectrum.
And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thanks for sharing your Monday evening with us, everyone. We now join our network news already in progress. Good night.